Good evening. I'm happy to welcome Architect Arivule Nambi, Chief Architect, Nambi Plus Partners, Coimbatore. Um, on one informal note, I would like to tell everyone that Nambi was a very friendly senior. All the juniors were very fond of them. He was very smart and intelligent and very approachable. You need not be scared when they were in fourth year, we were in first year. So after they had come back from training, it was like even a first year could approach them, kind of senior. So all what I could remember is his smiling face, and he is very jovial in his own way. But to many of the juniors, he has been very good at discussing academics plus extracurricular activities. I'm happy to have Nambi here in one of the earlier talks in this series, which we decided to have it because of the lockdown, meeting friends, seniors, juniors, and other design enthusiasts, people who are around who would be free on a Sunday to have this meet. On that note, formally I will introduce Nambi as a busy architect who is doing multiple projects very successfully in and around Tamil Nadu, and he has done most of the typologies on the residential, institutional, healthcare, and a variety of projects and such. Today we will be talking to Nambi regarding the profession, the challenges faced by the practicing architects, the new and the ones that are already practicing. So without taking much time, I will give the platform to Architect Nambi. Nambi, please.
Thank you for the introduction. So, rather, it's nice to see all young people and sort of a college feel after quite a long time. It's nice. So, in this, I thought it's not sort of a talk, rather it's sort of an ideas which we can exchange with each other, because this particular portion is being developed for quite a long time everywhere in the world, and but for to understand architecture as a profession, or can it be like the starting point for entrepreneurship, all these ideas I would like to give a sort of introduction so that we can discuss further on that. So I would like to not to make that as a talk, but as an introduction to the discussion. So wherein I would like to touch upon little or brush up the history little, and so if we really go back in the history, anywhere in the world, it is the idea of architect as a master builder, a person who has ideas and who can get the things done, including the execution to the finest details. So that was the idea in history in Europe, as well as even in India, you find Sthapadis or whomever who are part of that monuments, or probably if you go to Kerala or wooden constructions, it is the carpenters and who get it coordinated with masons. So that was the idea. That's how the functioning of architects were there, the creator of buildings. But when we trace back to the modern history, it's all started with the organizations in Europe, especially RIBA, which was one of the promoter of this idea of architect, contractor and client, a sort of a tripartite arrangement, where client as the entity or a person who is in need, and architect as the generator of idea, and contractor as the executor of that idea. So I think at that point, like the idea of creation and idea of execution were like separated from each other. Still then, like few countries in like Japan and other places, like they were not strictly following that. They still had the idea of like a creator and the executor together, not as a person, but at least as a company. So this like the modern era which shaped the architect as a professional, and it has its own it had its own advantages, and it had its own problems as well. If we actually compare our definition in the society as a professional, similarly, like there are so many other professions were also shaped, like doctors, lawyers, chartered accountants, and their role, responsibility, all these things were institutionally evolved. Especially the country like us, or like the most part of the developed world, started following European model, especially the British one, because like we were part of the British Raj at one point of time, and this probably the at the peak of the industrialization, the idea of mass production and starting of the initial stages of the corporate world, like it started blooming, and maybe these things were like a result of their influence also. But at the end of the day, like these were defined in this way, like how we do today. But today is the time like where we have to really relook at have we to really follow the same path, or it's time for us to have changes. So that is the one like which I wanted to put up. And these ideas, like there is no hard and fast rule to say like this is what is the best and this is not. And it is about just a different way of approaching and thinking, like why can't we think or do something in a different way. And to put into perspective overall, if we see, there are a lot of positive aspects to the architects, because like the architects who basically are introduced to the realistic world compared to any other course. All others study from books, and basically architects study from the real life situation, probably the rural, that what we were discussing, either visit the place and study the place, study the old examples, like how things happened, and you evaluate things on your own, devising your own method of data collection, analysis, all things. So that is one advantage like architects have in understanding the real world compared to the others. But I find like there are a lot of positive this ones, but still there are little negative aspects people talk about. It's about like earnings. See, at the end of the day, the respect the society gives us is in the form of earnings, especially in the modern society. And if we talk in terms of earnings, definitely we are lagging behind. There is no second thought to that. If we actually take, like even in our Indian context, roughly when we are handling a project is of size X, and our fees are mostly in terms of percentages. So probably as per like council suggestion, on an average, like we charge for the buildings between 3%, and for residential probably 6-7% on an average. Some people may charge a little more and a little less, but that is an average like with which like we go with. But at the same time, the other components of our creation are the contractors, suppliers, and all those people, how much they make out of the total of their involvement is like quite high. If you take contractors, it's definitely from 15% to big companies charge around like 30-35%. And if you take suppliers, even their share of either to the raw materials, like probably it's like quite lesser, but not less than 10-15% minimum. And in higher complex systems and materials, definitely it goes manifold, probably 300-500% like it goes. And so from that perspective, yes, that we are not getting paid. But getting paid is not just the, if you take from the conventional point of view, yes, we are charging on percentage basis. But actually, if you look into many other this ones, it is like how much that we can contribute and increase our value addition part of it. And it is for us to get that thing justified and try to get more money. That may not work out in the proper, I can't say proper, in the present form of percentage fees. If you take like some of the architects or designers in the developed world, and they basically, the design, they segregate it from other detailed designs in the form of like royalties or the patents they create. And so that sort of practice is not here in our place, because like even if you give a detail, if somebody else copies, like we don't have a proper legal framework to take on them. But wherein in developed countries, like they have, at least to some extent, they have certain legal backing for them in terms of copyright and patent. And even in terms of directly the conventional architectural fee charges itself, like even though the developed countries in Europe and US or any other places, they say like architects are getting paid less, but still they I think in UK it is somewhere between 10 to 15% is the average fee charged by an architect as percentage of the construction, and in US it is between 8 to 14% like they get, somewhat similar in other countries, but comparatively that we are at a much lower, this one is that needs to be improved. So apart from that, like the framework of like the construction projects in terms of sort of a tripartite relationship between us, the client and the contractor, we can even think in terms of like any other sort of relationship as a master builder, or in fact, like there are a lot of potentials from the supply side. There are a lot of innovations possible in terms of materials, in terms of systems. For example, simple things like you have fenestration systems, either ventilators or like windows. So which has like so much of potential, like you can explore different options. And instead of like packaging that and giving that just as a building, you can in fact like develop that as a separate system, which can be marketed in a separate way. So those sort of thinking, aiming, see today's, either we talk in terms of market. So the market needs a marketing, an effort to take it to the market and explain to them that this is what it is. And basically that one is like an integral part of any anything which comes into the market. So that part, like I think like there is a huge potential, because no other people can understand the building industry better than architects. In that, like quite a few things I thought like which can be of help to the architecture students is the engineering. And if you take historically, engineering, in fact, like architecture was the birthplace of engineering, and civil engineering was the first engineering which started, where like detailed calculation and I mean incorporating mathematical knowledge to convert an idea into reality I mean, architecture was the birthplace, and even the mechanical engineering, other than the wheels, and most of things, in fact, like originated from architecture. Even wheels were used in architecture quite a lot. So, as the mother of all arts, I would say, like, mother of the technology was basically the architecture. Uh, and in fact, that has not changed so greatly now, even though there are so many other fields are contributing to that. But at the end of it, like architecture plays an important role. I would say architecture as the built environment that has a greater contribution to the development of all things, like whether arts or technology or whatever. And in today's world, like we are seeing so many new technologies which are coming in. People say like which are going to change or shape the architecture in a different way. Rather, like I would put it in a different way. Unless architects understand this and try to put it effectively, those technologies cannot penetrate the building industry. Whatever you call it, whether artificial intelligence or virtual reality, augmented reality, or anything, see, Internet of Things, or all these things. So, so there is a great work which is needed from the architect's end to connect the, see, technology, I would see that as a societal knowledge, and knowledge of certain things, is material things or, I mean, invisible things, data or any system. And to put that into use in the built environment, definitely architect's involvement is a must. So architects' understanding of things like technology, I don't mean only the construction technology, but rather to understand even the electronics, the latest, the electrical and electronics technology or information technology. These things can bring a lot of fruits, or a lot of, it can open up a lot of avenues in architecture for innovation. That is one point, like where architects, instead of being an exclusive architect, I mean exclusive in the sense like eliminating, say, I am the specialist in that, I am the specialist in that. Rather, like we have to try to get like whatever possible things, like different thoughts and ideas from other fields into our field. So, which is one, this one where like it definitely, in terms of opportunity, there is plenty. Employment also will become like a much more in numbers when we start including many other subjects as part of our business. And really there is a huge part the construction industry plays in any economy. In the world economy, almost it contributes to almost 1/10 of the economy depends directly on the construction. And comes to developing countries like India, it is much more. And I would say like 15 to 20% of the economy revolves around construction industry. In construction industry, conventionally, roughly 50-55% is contributed by the building industry. Remaining 40-45% is by the infrastructure industry, like roads, I mean, power plants, bridges, and all those things. And even though like architect can play a lot of role in the infrastructure development, for the time being, for calculation's sake, I leave that and I'll take only the building industry, and which is almost contributing to really 10 to 12% of the national economy of India. And when you in fact like calculate it, it roughly, it's around like the $0.2 billion in 2017. It is, I would say it is literally like 15 lakh crores, which is the Indian construction industry size. Related to, I mean, it's a building industry size, not total construction industry. And if you take like there are 90,000 registered architects indicatively as per council registration register, if you see, and it roughly per capita what do you say, like not investments, per capita economy per architect is somewhere around 16.66 crores in our country per annum. And in our average, if you put like minimum of 3% of the fee, it roughly translates into like a 50 lakh per average per architect per annum. Is it really happening? It is actually not fully, except that the few creamy architects, definitely they make more money. But on an average, this doesn't happen at all. And this is by calculating only 3% of the conventional fee. And if you actually try to take it much higher, what I mean, like it is not for the same work we can ask for more money, but rather we can actually make it like our work much more complex. If you see the people in the developed countries, they pay around like 10 to 15% as the architectural fee directly, apart from your royalties and other ones. So we have almost another 3.5 to 5 times we have the potential in the Indian market to contribute more in the construction industry. So we have like another 500% opportunities there in the conventional architectural services. But if you actually calculate the potentials in areas where you can directly or indirectly generate more employment, more new innovations, or in the areas where like it is not directly related to design, but linking design and environment with the other areas like finance, business administration, journalism, and skill development and upgrade in the HR, and or real estate development and management. There are so many other revenues which are very closely related to the built environment. There is a huge potential like architects can explore. So those things, if you take like that, has again multiple percentage of opportunities like which are available in future. And so this is like a rough when I went through the data and some of these ones, like I've understood there is a great potential for the I would not say profession of architecture, but I mean the industry architecture. And architects, see, we have a 5-year BR course. In so many other countries, I'm seeing like they have in fact slightly changed. They have a 3-year bachelor degree course, and a master degree course is the minimum requirement for the professional practice as an registered architect. But after a bachelor's, like they get into so many different avenues of like property development, the historical, the management, or the either in the construction side or in the engineering side. And there are so many avenues like it opens up. So which can also be like our educators can think about. But apart from that, even after like doing the BR, there are plenty of avenues which are opening up. And these things, like it really struck me like architecture, apart from being like sort of a service, like somebody is asking for something, you are giving it. Architecture has much better role, and it has the potential to generate a lot of new thoughts, innovations, and it can generate a huge economy for a very longer time for any society. If you see the most of the tourism industry which happens anywhere in the world, so it is basically, most of it is actually depending on the architecture, built environment as a building or as a settlement. Yes, we have some nature tourism and so many other things, but architecture plays a very, very important role. I think like Egypt almost draws it like 35% of its national income is from showing the Giza and Luxor and other places, the old architecture. For which like the people contributed almost like few thousand years ago, and those people are still reaping the benefits of that. And whether you take it Europe or anywhere else, and that is the case. And even today, like people are arguing like, no, yes, those are all like olden days, but today it is not happening. But it's wrong. Like I could able to see even the contemporary examples, like how architecture can generate new thoughts and new economy in a different way. I would quote like two examples. One is like all of you know the buildings. I don't want to elaborate about the buildings. It is the Guggenheim Museum at Bilbao by Frank Gehry. And it was in fact like when I read like about the building, like when it was in the early stages, in fact we were at the as the I think like from student age we were coming to the profession, so we were following up quite a few projects like which were coming up on those days. And I remember like it was in fact like stalled in between for lack of funds. And in fact like the elected council came up with an idea of cutting short the overall budget so that like a cheap building can be put up for museum. But again, it was decided it is not just the exhibits which are going to be there inside alone, like which attracts people, but rather like the architecture, which is one of the main attraction for the tourist. And again, they put up a open floor wherein like even corporates can come and contribute to the construction of the building, where they can associate themselves with the images of the building for their any of the projections of their corporate entities. And a lot of people contributed. And see, when I visited, I was quite surprised. And this is little farther away. It is not on the Mediterranean side. It is on the other Atlantic or Bay of Biscay side of the Spain. And all the tourists are mostly around Mediterranean. But just to see the building and the museum, people in fact like fly from the Mediterranean side, come here, spend a day or so, then again they go back. And that creates a lot of tourism for the town of Bilbao, and that became a big success economically for the region, and which the government is now quite happy with. And so that is the power of architecture, like where it can, in fact, like that particular region, which was like backward region in terms of economic development, got a big push because of the new museum. So that is one. And the second, like when we visited a few of our architect friends, like when we visited the Seoul for one of our Union of International Architects conferences, and we visited the Dongdaeum Design Plaza done by Zaha Hadid. And when we went there, like yes, as a building, it is like quite interesting, and we were just going inside, coming out, and from the program to the context, everything, we were just talking, and we came to know that building cost was quite high. In fact, like one single company which took so much of efforts, the Samsung, to bring that building to the South Korea. Their whole interest was like, it is not just we are building something which is new, rather it can generate a complete set of companies, from big to small companies, which can contribute for the construction. You know very well, like that construction is not a conventional one. Mostly matter construction using steel and aluminum, glass, and other materials. But shaping all those.
நம்பி வாய்ஸ் கொஞ்சம் வரமாட்டேங்குது, நம்பி கேட்க மாட்டேங்குது. கேட்கல. ஐ திங்க் ஏன்னா சடனா கட் ஆயிடுச்சு. இப்ப ஓகே.
No, you have to unmute. Nambi, you have to unmute.
Oh, it okay, fine. Is it, sorry, that in between, I don't know how it became like that.
No problem, MB.
Yeah, fine. And sorry, I'll once again start with the Dongdaeum Design Plaza when we visited Seoul with some of our architect friends. And we were amazed to get the information. One single company, Samsung, which took so much of interest in getting that particular building designed by Zaha Hadid and getting it constructed in Seoul. And we wanted to explore like why they took like so much of interest in putting up one building of Zaha Hadid. But rather, when we investigated, like we got so much of information that it is not just the development of building, but a lot of other technology it can bring in to the country. And when they are in fact like getting the technology, along with that they are getting the know-how and production techniques, so that it can be popularized with the local local vendors. Vendors, I would say, like a small-time contractors, and to the big-time contractors, suppliers of the this one. So it changed a lot of things. They developed quite a lot of small to medium companies to cater to such a sort of a modern, I can't say modern, the contemporary needs of such constructions. And I was surprised after that, the Koreans took that to the countries. They were ready to put up buildings of a much bigger scale in countries like Kazakhstan and a few other countries, one or two in one in Africa and one or two in South America, where they took this opportunity. They got the opportunity of like trying to understand and have companies and people who can basically construct or supply such systems and components, and they started doing it abroad also. And because they have an excess, reserve in their, they could able to fund those projects and give a lot of opportunities for the Koreans in executing such projects. So that was an eye-opener, wherein it is not that like new ideas like you need to look at in such a way like, no, we are not ready for that, we don't have money for that, and none of these things work. It is basically your proposition and what you can boldly put it up, convince the others, and get the finances and get the other resources for production, everything ready and set in. It is that effort which is important. We don't need to wait for proper time and economic this one to arise on its own. So that was one interesting thing, like what we saw. Why I'm talking about these ones is like, see, all the students who are coming out with all young minds with new ideas, they don't need to wait for good time to arrive to start implementing their ideas, but rather they can, in fact, like search for the resources required for that. There are definitely plenty of opportunities now as we are like connected to the rest of the world. Not like our funding need not be only from within IDEA. Funding, I mean, like it is not just sort of a free funding, but rather like there are so many ways that your ideas can be like envisioned. So only thing is that we have to work with many other people who are in the market, like from the financing people to technical people, production people, and whatever, and including journalists and other people like who can bring forward this idea to the society to showcase like there are new ideas of this sort. And I mean, these are of little thoughts like what I have about the new possibilities like which can emerge from the architects. Architects, I mean, like not the conventional in the sense our dictionary meaning or the legal council of architecture meaning of architects, but rather the architects as the persons who have studied and who have knowledge and who have ideas about like how the built environment can be. And I feel like there is a huge potential for this. And this is like just that whatever I have felt in my short span of practice and my travels and all those things, like what the impressions and ideas I got. But it is like I just throw the floor open to all to share their ideas or whatever questions to everybody so that we can interact on this topic.
Thank you, Nambi. We have Professor Ramalingam here, Ramji is here, architect Nishanti is here, and many architects, senior people. I have architect Devakumar here. So, mic is off. Huh? Are you not able to hear? Yeah. So they can start, then students can also ask questions. Everybody's question is, what is the opportunity if I get out? How much money would I get paid? Because every time final years pass out, they come back and say, if I'm going out, I'm getting 10,000. My family is scolding. What 5 years you studied, you're not able to make money. That is the general thing. So there are also questions that are put up. Vignesh Ravi is asking something. So in the chat section, Lokesh, can you read it, Lokesh? Vignesh's question. Yeah.
I would say this is not just the case in India. This is the case throughout the world, and I've seen a lot of my closer set of friends who are abroad doing the same thing. But if you see the scenario for architect.
Nambi, you have to unmute. Nambi, you have to unmute.
Sorry. And
Once again, you have to unmute. I think something wrong with your network or something like that. It just, yeah.
No, it automatically goes unmute. Yeah. Now it's clear?
Yes.
Yeah. And so this is not the scenario here in India alone. Throughout the world, whether it is Europe or US or anywhere else, that this is the case, where architects are complaining that in fact a person who is not that much qualified as us, they make more money than us and they make a very comfortable living than us. Yes, that is the case, and that is the one what we are talking about. We are narrowing ourselves to only certain ways of doing that, and in most cases we become a glorified draftsman and a person who wants to just translate somebody else's idea into a set of drawings or a 3D model, wherein that should change. Second thing, in reality, if an architect earns only this much, it is only a starting. And if you compare with any other professional, at the end of 10 years and how much they can make, and same the architect when he's starting on his own, how much he can make, and there is no comparison. Definitely architects are much better placed. When it comes to the ladder, they can go quite higher up. Definitely they can go. And architecture, second thing is it's not other.
Yeah, you have to unmute again.
Yeah, I've done it. And it is you can compare it with other artistic, this one's acting or any other. You can't expect a side actress or a person who is coming in not in the lead roles to make crores of money, wherein a Rajni or Kamal Haasan is making, Vijay are making but hundreds of crores per movie. You cannot expect everybody to do that. So architect, apart from professional or the engineering side of it, there is an artistic side of it which gives them huge money, and there is the other side also. When they are starting, there are a lot of people who are not unsuccessful. Who are not so successful. So definitely they'll not be able to make money. But definitely, the other part, it is true. Even though we talk about that minimum assurance which is not there is true. That is because the existing professionals and the past professionals themselves to be blamed, say including me. that we have not really taken the architects like from 3% to 5% to the category of 10 to 15% in the last few decades, wherein it has happened in other developed countries. I think that should happen invariably. It will happen if we start putting like more effort. But at present, that struggle is there, which we cannot deny. But the potential for a better income is definitely there compared to any other field.
How do you persuade your client and get money? That is the simplest question, the most difficult for many people.
I feel there is no persuasion required. See, initial days are definitely difficult ones because like we have to prove to them like it is worth to give work to us. Definitely, I would say like initial 5 to 10 years are like quite tough. And it's only like a lot of people like who come to us because like they know through our family, they know through some other friendships and all those things that really doesn't really yield very good results in the long term. Maybe it's just a starting point. But for the client who come after seeing your work, then they are the people like generally you don't need to convince because they are coming to you because they are convinced by your past work. So only that you have to have your own stand and belief in yourself that you have something to offer to them and they are coming here to pay you and take it. Once you have the mindset, then I don't think it is a very big issue. There are always like little here and there in the society, but that is not the majority part. I would say like 75 to 90% of the clients, like they don't, this sort of problems doesn't come at all in terms of payment. A little part, like I would say like 10 to 20%, that is there. The problem is there that we have to manage. That is there in every business, not in architecture alone.
Nambi, this is Devakumar.
Hello, I'll find good.
This is about the competition culture. Does it really help, take our profession on a different platform or to fetch clients?
In fact, like that is in fact a very good idea of competitions. But at present, what I am seeing here in India, the quality of competitions and quality of judges and how things are going, I'm not very positive about. But definitely, competition is a very good way where like the young people can come up. Have a good footstep in the starting. Definitely, that's a very good idea. But like, say, for example, REBA has a separate competitions approved by REBA where like only their members can enter. We have to create such an atmosphere which is not happening. So it will take some time for the community of architects or the whole society to get mature to that level. To patronize younger people with good ideas, it will take some time.
Yeah, thank you, Nambi. Do you think you have to inculcate this kind of culture in colleges? Will that help? Getting
definitely it helps.
Okay.
I'm seeing like the younger people who are coming, who have participated in competitions. Definitely, they have a better understanding of like the work than the ones who are not participating in that.
Okay.
Definitely, that makes a lot of difference.
Okay. Thank you, Nambi.
I think I request Architect Ramalingam to share some of his thoughts on this topic, like what he feels.
நான் எதுவும் பேசக்கூடாதுன்னு இருந்தேன். வாயப்படுறீங்க.
சார் நீங்க பேசணும் சார். நீங்க தான் இப்ப குரூப்ல சீனியர் மோஸ்ட்.
சங்கர் ராம்ஜிக்கு மேலயா?
உங்களோட பெட்டு சங்கர் ராம்ஜி, அது ஒன்றும் பண்ண முடியாது. அதுக்காக சங்கர் ராம்ஜி
இல்ல, I think Nambi has really given a kind of a greater overview touching all parts of the country, quoting from US, UK, Egypt, Seoul and all those things, it's good. But the irony is, we touched upon REBA, the role of REBA, and to an extent the AAA also in America. comparing with RIBA, RIBA, AAA is nothing, right? Even though the number is larger and size is larger, RIBA is really making a good mark of it. But similar body, when you compare here in our country, is IIA. I don't know how far we have to travel still to at least reach a smallest part of what RIBA has really achieved. Well, that it all depends on the context, the country, the society in which RIBA has really come up, and the time period also. See, there are two aspects. Practicing architecture in India, there are two aspects. One is what so far talked by Nambi and Gerada was asking such questions. How is it possible to get your part of fees and all that? But now the question boils down, how to get projects at all. For the, now we are in a situation currently, practically speaking, we are not competing among ourselves, architects. We have to compete with so many other non-professionals and other professionals. That is the case in most of the places, I should say. And it is really getting back to us in terms of quality of construction and quality of built environment. I'm not talking about the building, quality of the built environment. And finally, they spend some money and render it with some finishes and make it look beautiful and kind of that. And that wins a kind of a race. That is a calamity in which the current building industry is in. Probably Nambi will accept that. Yes, Nambi?
Yeah, that is true. But like on the other hand, it is the architects, we have to create more awareness in the society about like what is good architecture and what is not. So that is right. We have to get ourselves involved. That's what I was telling, like there is a good potential for journalism, I would say architectural journalism in the society. You find like a lot of A+D, so many magazines a common man is buying who is not related to architecture directly, and they go through that. There are a lot of websites they go through. So all these things that architects have to take part and inculcate a good taste with the people. So which is very important. So we cannot keep on blaming somebody else outside, wherein like we can be part of that and try to develop a good taste. I would say like RIBA, complete Europe has really succeeded in that.
Yeah, that is due to RIBA's role to an extent, a great extent.
Not only RIBA, I remember like when I was like 10 years back, I was traveling in Spain. I forgot, like not in Barcelona, it was in some other. I in fact like took a taxi because I wanted to cover 2-3 buildings and come back to the evening, the bullfight arena in the evening. So I didn't take the public transport. Myself and my wife, we took the taxi. And 2 places I had in my list, like I told the driver, like, why don't we take it there? And he fortunately got a driver who can able to understand and reply back to me in English. And after 2 buildings, he told like 3rd building, he asked me like, are you an architect? Yes, I said yes. Then I'll tell you like there is one new building, which is a new university which has come up here, which was designed by so-and-so architect. If you are interested, I can take you there. I was surprised. A taxi driver who has an understanding of like the new buildings which have come up, how tasteful it is, and who is the architect, all those things they have in hand. And he's a taxi driver. So, I mean, everything in terms of in design, building, all those things, awareness for people is there in the complete Europe. I would say like it is not there in US, but Europe is like much quite developed in this.
Yeah, you are talking about kind of comparatively much empowered and much sensitized society, but that challenge is here very bad. Like our society, our people are not that sensitized or that aware or that empowered.
Yeah, I know. The situation is that, but like it is we can make an effort from architects
Exactly.
as a
That
society.
is
We have to basically get to the people, tell them like this is what is good. These are the benefits you get out of that. I mean, in the short-term benefits, long-term benefits, as a society, like what we will get out of like after decades. So all
that's
these
right.
things like definitely are.
That is where I'm coming to. In fact, I used to talk that only. It is our responsibility as architects to prove your worth, to
Yeah.
prove that your work is definitely much better than any other fellow's work. I'm not talking about architects. I'm talking about others who are not architects.
Yeah.
You know. So, but even we architects or some of our architects also fall into the prey of making beautifully looking building, forgetting what is a better built environment and those aspects. You know, better built environment. Say talking is not about rendering with costlier material and things like that. It's just whatever it is, but
No,
you make
what
a
you tell is true because in a reality there are a lot of we are in fact like architects, practicing architects are made as like marketing persons for the companies.
exactly.
So we used to market for this is the best product from Germany, sir. This is made in Germany. Why don't you use this? But that argument doesn't really stand good for a long time. Maybe like it worked in the last decade. I don't think it will work in the coming future.
Exactly.
At least in the
That
coming decade.
if somebody some vendors come and talk to me, sir, this is from there, this is from there. I said, don't you have anything from here? The next question I asked that only. So, well, I mean, I think the institutions, educational institutions, should focus more on inculcating this kind of content building than syllabus completion. You know, the kind of skill you're talking about, skill development, the kind of thinking critically, thinking creatively, those aspects, you know, I think which is missing in several institutes, I should say.
But this
And
is like, yes, we have to start that. Architects need to start that and take it to the society what the idea is. But in fact, like I remember quite a few times, all these big companies in our, this one, the vendors from Europe and US, they come out with big brochures and pamphlets where all like only white skinned people will be there. So I used to ask, like, you don't have any product for our girls and guys, like where they can make use of. And they say, no, they can use it. Then why don't you put our, we have the best of the models available in our country. It
yeah,
can be part of your advertisement. Like, so
yeah,
this is like one,
this is, as I said, the institution role. The next one is our professional body's role, IA's role. I think IA should start focusing more on propagating or sensitizing the society on what is good built environment architecture is. I think we have to start programs and activities to sensitize these kind of things. What is good practices in making the building? What is a good built environment? And all those things. Once we do that, probably society will become sensitized and they become more empowered, and they will not settle some substandard quality or just for the cost of it. Of course, cost is important, but that is not the
I think
important.
this is one very good area, I feel like, because there is a good potential for this journalism, even for an economic viability. There
Yeah.
are quite a few people from Bombay or Delhi who are not related to architecture. They get into that.
Yes.
And they event management, they take up the e-magazines or the regular magazines and so many publications, and they come out with. Rather, if that is taken by the architecture students who are interested in the media, and they can do much better than all these people.
Yeah.
There is
Okay.
huge potential waiting. It will be good both for the people, the profession, and for themselves
Exactly.
in terms of economic returns.
That's right. So probably 2-3 domains in which IAA can start doing it. One is, as I said, sensitizing or making awareness on good built environment and good practices in building making. The next one is identifying, recognition of these qualities. Third one is like what you said, good journalism. I think preferably in Tamil Nadu, probably in Tamil also, so that you reach several. It can be a bilingual magazine to cut short the expenses. So it will become a common man's hold also. And I think that could be the immediate step we can think about it. And the institution should focus on skill development and critical thinking process of it to cut short the discussion, and then make ourselves qualified for the fight. Qualified for the fight, and just get an opportunity, even a smallest part of a smallest size of a project. I think if we can establish ourselves, and that will start speaking for us, and that way we can demand whatever we like.
Yeah, definitely. It is not the size of the project that speaks for us. It is the quality of the project which speaks for us.
Yeah. And also,
on the previous this one, like they were asking about like how will the payment from the clients. Once they have understood, like you deliver something like which is actually good for them, definitely I don't think 75 to 90% of the people don't hesitate to pay.
Exactly. And there are again two domains. One is, as a consultant, as a comprehensive service provider, you charge some fees and whatever it is. Then there is another domain where they may not be in a position to realize these kind of things, but then it may be a very small project. Then you got to really take the role of, to an extent, a builder. It's not a contract, but taking charge of it and make a building and give it to them. And within that, you have your own design charge and other things. It is not contract. It is something like design build or something.
I think like this particular aspect, even the council doesn't stop.
Exactly, it doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop really.
Yeah, it's a fees charges only. So that way, I think then in this kind of projects, you may have to take a greater role than the other one. So I think we have a lot of scope on that. So the only thing we have to make ourselves prepared for these kind of challenges, prepare our students towards that. I think in India, Tamil Nadu has got one of the major number of institutions. I think we have to really think
so I'm
about
not just
those
talking about like design build alone. I mean, pure building or creating certain components and giving it systems. That also completely as a profession, young architects can get into. I'm not talking young, like anybody, even at an elderly age. I don't think there's no bar in terms of age. But like there is a huge potential. There is somebody like on particular system, or say for example, like when you want have a good acoustical solution for any of this one's complete office, there is no professional people who can deliver that. So there are so many people who are not really technically inclined towards it. They are having certain things and they are supplying to us. And definitely an architect or a group of architects can get into this business. There is a huge potential.
Exactly.
It's not like design and do things like they can create systems and they can be the entrepreneurs and start selling.
I think coming years it's going to be more of a consortium type of practice than individual kind of a thing.
No, apart from practice, there is a business potential.
I know.
Business potential in
accepting it.
Yeah, and built environment.
So whatever it is, a practice or a business, it is going to be a consortium. So each one can share the load, the profit load or the challenge load or whatever it is. It's good that way. Yeah, probably. We shall have a pause, wait for others to comment on whatever you're talking about.
Yeah. Thank you.
So meanwhile, I would like to introduce Professor Ramalingam. So the junior, the children will not know whoever is student now. Sir is the senior most alumni now in the group. He passed out in the year. Another sir, you were 1 year senior to Rani Mama.
Junior to
அப்படிதான் நாங்க ரெஃபரன்ஸ் வச்சுக்கணும். 1 year junior.
ராணி வந்து லாஸ்ட் பேட்ச் ஆஃப் மெட்ராஸ் யூனிவர்சிட்டி.
ஓகே.
நாங்க வந்து ஃபர்ஸ்ட் பேட்ச் ஆஃப் அண்ணா யூனிவர்சிட்டி.
ஓகே.
So 79 I joined.
So Professor Ramalingam is practicing in Madurai, and on the other side he was my first HOD when a set of young teachers joined in Tyagaraja. So he is like a father figure to all of us. Like, Ramji is here. Rambi used to come to TC for those times. So many times I tell Ramalingam sir as an example here when we discuss about institutional thing. He will always encourage us. We will always keep saying our young and energetic staff. We will keep laughing. That time we thought he was very old. That time he was only 40, I think. Now we have crossed that age, and I'm like, and even now I don't feel old. Why did we keep telling him that he was old? So we always have that good memories of Ramalingam sir.
Jayarada, I was just 33.
Sir.
I was just 33 when I was heading the Tyagaraja.
ஆமாமா சார். So I was 23 sir. So naturally உங்களை நான் வந்து அப்படிதான் நினைச்சிருப்பேன்.
Okay.
So so அவர் வந்து எங்களை எத்தனை தடவை லெட்டர் ரைட்டிங் பண்ண வச்சுப்பார் தெரியுமா நம்பி? When we were faculty, he will ask 10 times he will ask us to இது தப்பு இந்த வார்த்தை எழுதிட்டு மாத்திட்டு வாங்க. That leave letter we have to write or something letter we have to write. And none of the students will write it. Sir, ஆனா நீங்க நல்லா எங்களை ட்ரெயின் பண்ணீங்க சார். Many procedures that I've learned from him.
Yeah,
Useful even now.
No,
That is one unforgettable.
any
easy.
official letter, I used to say it has to be in a passive voice, not in active voice. That's always a lesson I
So
learned
that,
when I was there in Tyagaraja as such. Yeah, good old days.
I know. His two children also are architects. Not children, they are one is married and as a child now. The other one is Rajkumar. No, sir. So we also have Nishanti. Hello, Nishanti. Can you introduce?
Those who can, you can put on your videos on now. Anyway,
Nishanti, are you there or have you left? So we have architect Srikanth, KNR, Shriku. Oh, nobody is responding. இது கிளாஸ் எடுக்கிற மாதிரி இருக்கு.
Ma'am, good afternoon, ma'am.
Shriku, good afternoon. Shriku, introduce yourself now. Jaiju is here.
Hello, ma'am.
Sorry, Vinod. I'm so sorry. He had a pet name in college. We got very used to call him here also in the forum. I called architect Vinod. Please introduce.
Hello, sir.
yes,
Yeah.
please start.
It was a great having you hearing about the professional setting. So I have a question to Nambi, sir.
Yeah.
As an initial practice, we are still trying to figure out the best initial conversation that we hold with the client, especially the first meeting. Can you just tell us what are the components that as a young architect we need to discuss with the client in the first meeting, and what we should not tell in the first meeting?
I have to really think, but I would say like most of my first meetings are always about like about architecture, what it can do to them, how it can better their lifestyle if there is a house. So how architecture can play a better role in making the whole family like more physically healthier, mentally healthier, and probably like if you just like converse with them on their lifestyle, definitely like we will have something to offer to them in terms of like a lifestyle change. So building can be an initiator of that. So I would always say like the people come to the mostly the residential this ones. It is not that like you are coming here and meeting me because like you want to live in the same way you want a shell. And if you want that, you can always go buy a ready-made shell and like put yourself inside. And if you are coming to me like it is basically like I want to give something like better than like what you do now. I want to make it a little better living than like I'll give my ideas, you take it, you analyze it, then you get back to me on like which one suits for you or what modifications can be done. And that is one. And even like other people from the corporate or industries, like when they come to us, definitely like if just to put up a shed, they don't need us. And they can, in fact, like they don't even need engineers. They can directly go to the PEB guys, say like I need 100 feet by 500 feet shed. Why don't you make it? They'll give an offer. They can approve that. They will get it done. And when they come to us, it is for something which others cannot give. So that portion of it you talk. And I don't even talk about the fee in the first meeting. It is about like what architecture can do to you, what value addition it can do to you. And once you sell that idea that they want something from you, then the rest of the it can be continued in the further discussions. Yes. So I do not know. This one is always about like not even me. It is about like selling what architecture can do to them.
Actually, we practice from a suburb point. We have lots of potential on the suburb more than the city. I think you would have understood from the second tier city from Coimbatore.
Yeah. We are also not from metros.
So, but what happens is the initial, when we talk so much, the second question comes is, what is the fee? Even though we don't want to touch the part of the fees part, the next question is going to be on the fee. How do you tackle that question from a client at the initial stage?
No, tackling, there is nothing to tackle. So we always tell like this is what we charge. We tell in frank. And some people like see the initial days, especially like we have to really little adjust. But you cannot go below a certain level as well. So that will again put your standard down. And it took really some time for me also to understand that. Thing if you are given a Mercedes E-Class for 5 lakh rupees, you will not realize the value of that. You will not buy it.
True, very true.
So that you have to keep in mind.
And
everybody knows that.
Yes, even we agree to a small less fee, the process is becoming very difficult toward the project when you accept a project for a less fee.
Yeah, it is. I know it is a difficult thing because it is not like we have a standard product like where the MRP is there and only that you have to negotiate for the discounts. And it is not like that. So we have to probably explain in detail like our interest and our time what we put in. These things are the ones which are going to like really make their product, the building better. So I think like it's a slow process. There are still struggles. I will not say like we have 100% succeeded in that, but to some extent like it is much better than like what it was before.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Vinod.
Here I like to share one of my friend's experience. Now my friend architect, who is normally charging around 6% normally, and then once a person had come to him, referred by one of his earlier client. But then that time this architect was quite busy with more number of projects. So just to avoid, probably the next round of, the second dialogue was about fees. So he didn't want to continue with the project. So he said, so now I am charged 8%, 2% more than his usual charge. But that client said, it's okay. Here's the advance. You are doing a project. But then the friend of mine said, now I have no other go just to accept it. I tried avoiding it by enhancing my fees, but he is giving it. Now I have to work twice extra hard for this thing. But his contribution is that much. His work will get that kind of an accomplishment. So that is what Nambi was saying. Earlier it would be a little difficult. But once you win a project, when I say win a project, not getting it, and completing it in the real sense of it, then that will start fetch the fees for you and collection will be very smooth there.
That's true.
Is there any other questions the audience will want to ask?
There are Shankar Ramji Amelia.
Hello. Left the meeting, sir. அவர் இல்ல சார், இப்போ அவரு போன் கால் அட்டன் பண்ண போயிட்டாரு. லெஃப்ட் த மீட்டிங் வந்துச்சு. ஆமா சார். There are others who are your students are here. So I think I don't know if they have any question to ask the students. Do you have any questions? இப்படி கேட்டா எனக்கு காசு எடுக்கிற மாதிரி இருக்கும், அதனால.
But just to provoke their thinking, I'm
Yes,
raising
sir.
certain points.
சார், நீங்க ஆசைப்பட்டவர் ஜாயின் பண்ணிட்டாரு, ராம்ஜி சங்கர்.
Nambi, I have another question.
Okay.
Nambi, how about the public spaces? Like, chinna shops are or oven valagama irukkalam, or else a ration shop, PHC, all these where common man goes in and out.
Yes, yes.
So I think we need to address those spaces wherein they will understand the quality of work. And if the public buildings like government buildings say about now metros have come in a different style.
So I think like
So,
your thing is valid, but you see like in Coimbatore, I found like there are quite a lot of efforts. The smart city, this one, they gave it to the younger architects, something as a competition or as a work, and they have done like phenomenally well those things. So those are all in fact like good starting points for them. In fact, like the shelters, walkways, and many other interesting things they have done it. And the kiosks and all those things, it need not see the public buildings or public properties. Definitely, you need to have at least a vision which is shared with us by the policymakers, mostly the elected representatives, other people who can push it through. But when it comes to private, this one I feel like a lot of younger architects are doing. I found like there are quite a few the mobile shops on wheels, nicely designed, even run by young architects. I found like it is quite interesting. And
another sort of entrepreneurship.
Yeah, which is good.
Yeah.
Which is good. If you go to a restaurant, good restaurant. It is not that just the food what we are paying for. I think a decent amount of proportion of money we are paying to the environment.
Correct.
So
correct.
definitely, like if a chef can take the share of the profit, why can't an architect?
Yeah. And moreover, the architectural magazines publish only the posh buildings, right? Like posh bungalows and things like that, wherein a common man cannot relate to that.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So
Definitely,
I think
that good things should be promoted. Definitely, it should be promoted.
Okay. Thanks, Nambi.
Yeah.
சார் நீங்க தான் ஆரம்பிச்சீங்க என்ன சார்?
I think like we can open up all the mics, like unmute all those people so that like anybody can.
இது அது ஒரு ராகிங்
Because
இருக்கும்
it's
நம்ம.
muted, I think they are not.
Yeah, they have muted themselves. We so maybe we can ask them to switch on and introduce maybe as a starter. Whoever is here, they can introduce themselves. Hello, Ramji.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Ramji, you can show your face if you don't mind.
First of all, I object to this timing. It is really on a hot summer day. You know how it used to stay like at 2 o'clock.
It's all for a noble cause.
I
It's all for a noble cause, Ramji.
I appreciate it. My apologies first. So for being in and out of this. அப்புறம் என்ன ஒரு சார் இருக்காரு, அதுக்கப்புறம் நீங்க என்ன முடிவு பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கீங்க?
நம்பி பாத்தீங்களா, ரெண்டு பேரும் மாறி மாறி அவங்க ஜாலரா அடிச்சுக்குவாங்க, நம்ம அமைதியா இருக்கணும்.
Good. All.
Ramji, can you switch on your video so that we can see you?
அப்படியா? ரொம்ப if you insist.
Bless us with your blossoming.
Otherwise, it's not lively if we don't see faces. நம்பி கேட்டீங்களா, கிளாஸ் எடுக்கிறது எப்படி இருக்கணும்? இப்படியே தான் இருக்கும், பாத்துக்கோங்க. இப்பயே புரிஞ்சிச்சு.
Hello.
Okay,
so you're holidaying somewhere in Hawaii.
இல்ல, அதான் life has totally changed in the past 1 year.
Yeah.
This is the only way we can visit places through screenshots and backdrops.
Yes.
How is life, Nambi? It's been a long time.
Yeah. It's all fine, good.
Sir, எப்படி இருக்கீங்க?
Yeah, fine as usual.
Okay. Good. So, very enlightening discussions. Please keep continuing. I was listening carefully, very intently.
Nambi,
I have one. I would like to just throw up one question for everybody. Anybody feel free to be there. Now, the practicing the structure or model, this is something that we are holding on to. Is audio clear?
Ramji, யாராச்சும் இருக்கு
Voice
ராம்ஜி?
problem இருக்கு.
Is audio clear now?
It is fine, better now.
Okay. So in the practicing the model one day, now I find that everything around us has changed over the past 20 years, or ever since the internet came and things like that. The delivery systems or everything about this industry has changed except the way we practice. You think it's time for us to rethink other modes of delivery in terms of what is architecture? You think it's time to take a relook at how things are done? I find that most of these startups, the interior design space, are run by other people who are not even architects or designers. But they are making a huge impact in the way design is delivered. Live space, home lane, a lot of these players in the market. Why is that architects are not part of these kind of? The moment we talk about anything other than a regular model of practice, the question of ethics or morals, and somehow I feel we get tied up in all these things. கொஞ்சம் ஒரு colonial hangover இருக்கும்னு எனக்கு ஒரு feeling இருக்கு. Is it time for us to have the startup mindset and with the kind of numbers that we are churning out as architects, not everybody can afford to be a designer or run a design firm. So when is it that we are going to open up this field to other possibilities in terms of business models and stuff like that? Any changes that comes from the top has always been reactionary, not proactive. That includes, it's a very in the mindset. So is it? I want everybody's opinion on this. Feel free to chime in. Nambi, what do you think?
No, I feel like what you tell is correct. But only thing is, even in the present structure, we are not barred from doing anything other than designing, other than architecture. Only thing what the council puts up is we should not call ourselves as architects technically and do something else. Say, for example, like you have some other idea, you want to start a business, that's a separate business. You can always start it. Without claiming that you are an architect, you can always do that. And it goes by like all those things are not like you are not going to succeed in business because that you are projecting yourself as an architect, but rather like whatever you do, it's going to like stand up in society because of its own merit. So it's only our mind block. I don't think even I think Rami can basically tell clearly on that. In the present regulations in the council, there is nothing stops us from doing anything other than it. Only things we should not call ourselves as architect when we do that in that particular business, correct?
Yeah, that's right. And also, as long as you are not profit making, if you are going to collect charges or fees for it, I think you are allowed to do that. In fact.
And architects is not like barred from doing any other business.
Only thing
any other business. I mean, I'm talking about within architecture. Now, I'm not saying an architect starting a restaurant or some other business. Now,
I'm talking within architecture.
Within architecture, are there other means? And for example, I'll give you a small example. Very often in the WhatsApp group, these ads come up. People send these ads, plans on the 500 rupees, 1000 rupees, and there is a typical, reaction among architects. It's kind of looked down upon.
I understand.
Right, but there is another way of looking at it.
Criticizing our own fraternity, saying like you are going very cheap and
Yes.
Why do you want to put architecture
Yes.
down? Something like that. And I think now it's sort of an open field where like each needs to compete with each other. But only thing is like the architect as a professional, it is defined in the dictionary of the government, has certain obligations towards it. So when you call yourself as an architect legally, that you are not supposed to do that, because in the sense like you have to support, give minimum services which are prescribed by the council. You cannot do a half or like part services. You are not supposed to give. As an architect, you are supposed to give the comprehensive services minimum prescribed in the council norms.
Yes.
So
This is
that part
exactly.
services, if you are giving, you should not call yourself as an architect. You can call yourself as designer or any other service provider for that, and you can always give it.
Yeah, this is exactly what I'm saying. See, now, when these rules were formed, our profession was in a different era, different state of existence. 40 years have passed, 1972, I don't know how long. Have we changed these rules? Everything about it has changed. Everything about the industry has changed. Everything about the business
Yeah,
has changed.
definitely. There needs to be a revamp in it.
Now,
But the thing
what
is,
is
like, we are
complicated,
undergoing.
there are equal number of players in the market who can offer the services that we do. In fact, design has become part and parcel of every vendor's products. Asian Paint,
Yes,
everybody has
yes.
got design inbuilt. It's like a kit of parts that you can pick and choose and plug and play kind of or model.
Yes.
Now, does it even matter, or is it even relevant to still call what we do as comprehensive services? Of course, it matters to a certain scale of project. It matters to a certain level of kind of projects. But for a majority of projects, which is the bread and butter of every young architect, which is a residential sector or something, it's a even playing field for everybody. Anybody who has some experience in the field calls himself a designer. In fact, I get calls from a lot of people saying, I'm sure everybody would have received those calls. Right? So where does that leave these young architects who have just graduated, who are just, they are competing with the best in the business. At the same time, they also need to survive. And so how do they, they are forever stuck in with a feeling of guilt or something, whether what I'm doing is right, or am I kind of denigrating this profession by doing this or something like that. There's always this feeling associated. I get a lot of these calls from young architects, even my students. Sir, idu pannalama, sir, idu tappa, sir, ipdi pannalama, apdi pannalama. It puts you in a very delicate situation. And it's high time we revisit those rules as to what is comprehensive services. And whenever these issues come up, I hear the statement. The title of the architect is protected.
But Ramji, if you take like the present regulations in our even state government, what they have given, projects like when we have to sign as an architect, so we have certain obligations which we have to meet. So those standards we can always say like this should be there, should not be there. But as a society, the government wants to establish certain standards. It is followed world over. It is not just here. Even in US, a lot of projects which are done, there are local architects who are the so-called architects. The other people are only, they call themselves a design architects, but they are designers.
Yes.
And real interpretation of the design to suit that and to the place, to the local rules and all those things, which are taken care by the local architects, and they sign as the architects there.
Yes. So the
sort of a
legislation, do we have
certain
the protection?
Basic standards which government wants to deliver. So this so far is the easiest mechanism by which like they can do it.
So they have the protection of the legislation. They have a rule which says even if Charles Correa wants to do a project in New York, he has to have a local architect.
Yeah,
right.
Who knows who are recognized as the local architects, who knows the basic minimum things like to be done for the building.
Yes, but do we have it by legislation here that I'm not aware? Please, those who are much more aware of the practical aspects can.
I think in the last 3-4 years, like things have changed. The 2017 or 18 regulation, they want us to get registered with the DTCP. And when we are signing that, and we are responsible for that. Like previously and all, like we never used to sign for those documents, or even if we sign, it is not a big responsibility. Now that like when you are signing for that, it is your responsibility. The drawing should be like, the building should be done as per the drawing. And you have to issue the final completion certificate saying like this building is done as per our drawing, it is completed. So till that responsibility, they are asking us for that. And for that, what benefit they give to us, it is not like there much. But at least one step has been taken, wherein like they have fixed the responsibility of on us as architects. And rest of the things like remuneration, rest of the things, slowly that it should evolve, which has not come, which is on paper, which is not fully implemented, but at least like it will start from this point and it will go up. I think down the line, probably 10, 15 years, same trend continues. I think we'll be in a better place to control things.
The earlier the better, because the kind of number of architects that we're churning out every year, unless a legislation comes in, it becomes very difficult to. I think we're already seeing the effects of that in the new admissions every year in colleges.
Yeah, that is there. But on the other hand, I see like there is a big deterioration also in the quality of students who are passing out.
Absolutely.
Which like we have to really take responsibility for that as professionals who are in fact like getting involved in practicing and teaching. I feel personally feel there is a big deterioration which we have to really take care. I mean, it is like open to anybody who is interested in joining can join. But when they are passing out, and these minimum things that they should have, that we have to ensure. So that is what is the exams for. It is not like just to make everybody pass and make them feel good. When it comes to the profession, that we have to follow those standards. So that I feel like we need to improve. It is not the quantum of people who are coming out which matters, it's the quality also like which matters.
You need to have professional exams before they can start practice.
I mean, in whatever way, like either professional exams or like now that like we are council approves all the institutions. So institutions themselves can be the place where they check the standards. Institutional exams itself can be a place like where they can check the standards.
Rami sir, your comments on this.
1 minute, Ramji. Nambi, you also have questions in the chat section. Can you? 2 people have posted already. There's some students.
Okay. Sorry.
Then we'll continue with our.
Chat. Okay, fine. Okay. Good evening. I'm third year student of SAP. I feel in India the thoughts are architects are associated with preparing for better public they also learn about
Voice break, Nambi.
Yeah. No, I'm just reading that thing. Okay, much better experience with clever thoughts and architects. So I feel our fields need to spread into even smaller projects to expand our reach. Any thoughts on that?
And others also can read and give an opinion.
Ramji,
Ramlingam sir. And
I think like this particular question, like what they are talking about is like, see, it is not only the high-end buildings, other bigger projects like which is to be important, and even for smaller ones like which can be important. I mean, yes, like what you are telling is true, but at the same time, how the society like functions is like the economically these things needs to be viable. I know, like if I have to design a pencil, I can do it in a very nicer way. But like how much time that I am going to like devote to this particular design of the pencil, and is it proportionate to the benefits I am taking out? So that is question. That is the one which comes into economic implications when we talk about it. And to say that I am going to make like 1,000 pencils or like 2 lakhs out of this design, then obviously I will put in my more efforts, wherein like you get the proportionate value out of that. and there is nothing wrong in designing a small tea stall or small shed, but difference.
Sir,
Be able to
Ramalingam
run
sir,
an
நீங்க
office.
mute பண்ணி விடுங்க sir. Okay sir.
See, when you run an office, or even like when you have to live with your family, you need some basic minimum income to feed yourself, your family, to have a place for you to like live and operate, and those minimum things, you need certain minimum scale of projects or number of projects. So otherwise, like a design of an architect doesn't need not be like based on the size or the cost of the project, but only thing is that the scale of operation definitely makes very big impact on the sustainability of such practices. Yeah, that is on Baba Harini's question. And sorry, I'll go to the next question by Naga Meenakshi. Good evening, everyone. Third year student of SAP. I feel people are hesitating to take up new technologies that make the construction easy and making it fast. Most of the people stick up with conventional building techniques, which is not very cost efficient or time efficient. Even in this COVID situation, government is not all ready to build up a hospital in days like China, where we are lagging. How can people go with the better building techniques? And I think to this question, like what you are telling is like not a true observation. In reality, like we do lot many other techniques for construction. And if you see like the steel PEBs or like concrete precasts, or like now you find like even the CLT wooden panels and many other techniques are coming up, and which are adapted in the real life situation. But only thing is the spread of that has not like gone very wide because of so many other factors. In any such new things in society, it takes some time to percolate down to the smaller scale. It basically starts at a bigger scale in urban areas, and it will take some time to the whole this one to trickle down or come down to the lower level. But this is happening. All these things what you're talking about is happening. And the second part of your question is like in these difficult times, why we are not doing like how China does. So that is purely like a political question. And I feel technology is available here in our country. There are buildings coming up in that way. Even there are government departments promoting such things like glass reinforced gypsum panels, which are promoted by the government-sponsored company developed by the IIT. So technology is available, people are available, and why it is not putting into use is basically a political question which government should answer. I think then then Vignesh Ravi has put up a question. In most other professions, a person with limited skill set is able to make decent. I think like we have answered this. We have answered that.
Yeah, that was the first question you answered, Nambi, already.
Arun, Madan, Manisha, interesting numbers. Okay, fine. I think like these 4 questions that we have went through. We have gone through.
I think this was a nice session, Nambi. You know,
I thought we could see some Nambi's works.
Pardon? Yeah.
We would like to see some works of you.
Yeah, sure. We can have a session
separately.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
If there is nothing, that we can close it. And really quite nice, like interacting with people on the subjects of profession and related things. Yeah, and it's nice to see a lot of faces like Ramji, Rami, Deva, everybody like after quite a long time.
Yeah, nice to catch up.
Yeah. I think like now we are finding it difficult to see faces at all. Like during good times, you're not moving anywhere out of our own bends and
I know
everybody. And thanks for the opportunity. And it's nice like to interact with younger minds. But I was expecting quite a lot of questions from students like,
Students.
but it's quite less. Like anyway, okay.
Yeah, we can
Start
pull their
thinking
leg
and
now.
they will start developing their future much better.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Nambi.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you for your
Thank you.
time and coordination, and all whoever has come here, all the younger people and the elder people, not experienced people, I will call them. So it was a nice discussion, seeing each other, and Sunday, like Ramji said, golden hour. We have used that golden hour of Sunday. Anyway, but it's nice. 2 weeks lockdown, people won't know what to do. This is a good thing that sometimes we talk about our profession
Yeah.
also. Not in that
Yes.
formal projected screen and seating and all this. It's like face to face talk. It's nice
Yeah.
that way. That's all.
Right.
Thanks a lot, Nambi. Oh,
Bye, 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 bye.
thank you,
Thank
everybody.
you. Thank you.
Thank you. See
Stay
you
safe.
next.
Hi, Sendil. Hi, Ramji, Nambi. They are all you are fine. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.